It's day 5 of the Formula Kite World Championships in Quartu Sant'Elena in the south of Sardinia. We're about to watch the world's best kiteboard racers compete in 4 races this afternoon out of sunny Poeto Beach. Hi, I'm Andy Rice, and with me is IKA President Mirko Babini. Now, Mirko, we're in your hometown. Here we are in the south of Sardinia, Quartu Sant'Elena. We've been here many times before. This is such a popular venue for this kind of racing. How pleased are you to see it back here, and what do you think we've got today?
I mean, it's amazing to have all the superior athletes from all over the world here, training before and now competing for the worlds here in Poeto Beach, and for the first time in Quartu Sant'Elena area, which is beautiful, this location, and I'm really happy that everyone love it, everyone like it, and also for a few different wind angle. Also, it works pretty well, and today we expected some sea breeze. Let's see if the Mistral doesn't kick back the sea breeze, because there is always this challenge, because it's still really warm. I mean, we are in fall, but it's almost summer here.
Yeah.
So we have struggled a little bit with the thermal breeze again with the Mistral, but it's fine. I think today I really hope that we get the right 10, 12, 13 knots.
Well, let's hope so. We've been pretty lucky. Well, also great race management as well by Principal Race Officer Mikhail Jodlovsky. A really tricky job to get right, because these kites don't need much wind to get going, but massive changes, gusts and big shifty conditions like we've had this week makes it really challenging to organise the racing and keep it safe. And a couple of days ago, actually, there was a sudden gust, a squall that hit the riders on the start line, and some of them got lifted quite high in the air, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, this is the obvious when it happened. The race officer need to be really stay with an open eyes and have a look and try to avoid the risk. But I mean, it happened. We are not also far away from the mountain, and sometime when the wind started to have this kind of turbulence, it happened. But we also understand that most of the competitors, most of the riders that are here, they know, because happened also in the past when the Mistral against the sea breeze, it started to funnel a little bit.
Yeah. So you've got Mistral breeze blowing one way from the north, high up in the sky, and we got the thermal breeze coming in from the south, which is, we're looking in a southerly direction there. Let us just give you a little recap of what's happened in the first 4 days of competition so far here on Poeto Beach. Quartu Sant'Elena in the south of Sardinia, and the world's best kiteboarders are here to compete in the Formula Kite World Championships. There are 96 riders representing 29 countries and 5 continents. Day 1 saw 4 back-to-back races for the women's fleet and 2 qualifying fleets for the men. Jessie Kampman from the Netherlands took the early lead in the women's fleet, holding a 5-point advantage from France's Olympic silver medalist and defending world champion Lauriane Nolot in second. 6-time world champion from the USA Daniela Moroz holds 3rd place overall, just ahead of Britain's Olympic champion Ellie Aldridge in 4th. In the men, Max Mader, the defending world champion from Singapore, won all 4 of his races in his half of the qualifying draw. Local Italian hero Riccardo Pianozzi holds 2nd place ahead of Switzerland's young up-and-coming talent Jan Stragiotti in 3rd. After the light onshore winds of the first day, day 2 brought a strong offshore Mistral breeze with big gusts and wind shifts. Brianna Whitehead won 2 of the 4 races, moving the Australian up to 3rd place behind Lauriane Nolot in 2nd, but with the ever-consistent Jessie Kampman remaining top of the women's scoreboard. A perfect 4 wins from 4 moved Riccardo Pianozzi to the top of the men, although he's still tied on points with Max Mader. Brazil's Bruno Lobo won a race, but it's Jan Stragiotti who continues to hold 3rd overall. More strong and gusty offshore breeze for day 3, and Spain's Gisela Pulido mastered the conditions to win a race, but Kampman and Nolot continue to hold the top 2 spots. In the men, Max Mader won all 3 of his qualifying heats, while in the other group, the wins went 3 ways to Tony Vodicek, Wojtek Koska and Riccardo Pianozzi. The first day of Gold Fleet racing for the top 25 men and some swirly wind conditions made consistency very hard to achieve. In race 2, a big tangle between some of the front runners caused a good deal of confusion. At the end of the 4 races, Pianozzi moved into the lead, while Mader tumbled to 4th, behind Stragiotti and Vodicek. Big movers in the women's fleet were Britain's Lily Young and Switzerland's Elena Lengvierler, who move up to 3rd and 4th overall. Kampman still out in front.
So it's been a really exciting first 4 days to the competition. We got 2 days of competition yet to run. Today is the final day when everyone will be competing, and it's all about seeing if you can get into the top 8. If you can get into the top 8 of the men, top 8 of the women, it's only the top 8 that will be contesting the final day of racing, which is the medal series, starting with a series of knockout races and then culminating in the 4-rider final for the men and for the women. We're going to be starting today's coverage by looking at the first of the women's races. We've got 4 minutes to go. Very quickly, we're going to go to an ad break. And here is the order of play so far. And Jessie Kampman, who used to race for France, didn't quite qualify for Paris 2024, although if she had managed to go for any other country, probably would have been in the running for a medal. She has been absolutely unstoppable this week. She leads ahead of she's now for the Netherlands, against her former French teammate Lauriane Nolot, the Olympic silver medalist, in 2nd place. The up-and-coming, well, she's been around a while actually, Lily Young, but she keeps on getting better and better. She had a great day yesterday to move up to 3rd. Elena Lengvierler, slow start to the week for the Swiss rider, but she had a great day yesterday to rise up to 4th. Daniela Moroz has been moving around between 3rd and 5th so far this week, and you can see the points back up to 3rd are pretty close, and only 1 point behind Daniela Moroz is the reigning Olympic champion from Great Britain, Ellie Aldridge, who hasn't done a lot of kiting this year. She's been mostly involved in Sail GP. Brianna Whitehead, absolutely fantastic on day 2 of this competition. The Australian very much in contention. Darren Atakan from Turkey winning a race yesterday. Mafalda Pires de Lima from Portugal also going well. And Lisa Caval, 3rd in the Europeans this year. Last year's Youth European champion, coming back after a bit of concussion and a kiting accident earlier in the summer. She's only really just coming back to form. But there is Jessie Kampman. Well, so far, Mirko, it's been hard for anyone to hold her back. She surely is looking favourite to hold on to that yellow bib today.
Yes, absolutely. You're right, Andy. And Jessie, she's the only one that proved to be really consistent all on the different day and different wind condition. And we can still say that she doesn't score all the win in all the races, but really consistent, and 1st or 2nd or 3rd. Always, I think the worst that he got is 4th. So really, really great performance for her. On the other side, we saw that between the 2nd, the 3rd, and also the 10th, but I would also go even further to example Gisela Pulido. She scored 1 first, but the average is 10, 12, 15. How is possible that you can score, you can win a race, and then you score a 12. I mean, that means that the level is so high, and they're really level up, all of them. So it's going to be really important today.
Yes, it is. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, it's about making sure that you get into the top 8 for the medal series tomorrow. We've got 35 seconds to go. The breeze is blowing between about 8 and 11 knots, and they're on their biggest size of kite, going for maximum power today. And now we're into that critical pre-start phase, looking back towards Quarto Santa Elena on Poeto Beach, which is where we're commentating from. And summer is still here, even though it's autumn, summer is still here. 10 seconds to go, and be as close to that line as you dare to be without actually being over the line. Here they go, putting their kites down into the power zone, and Jessie Kampman launching fast off the line, while behind her are some port tack starters looking to one tack the beat, going the opposite way. But so far, so good. A very strong start for Jessie Kampman, and also for Lauriane Nolot just to windward of her.
Yes, exactly. Really interesting to see how Jessie, she really want to stay on the left and starting from the pin. So they might see more wind outside and try to get into the outside breeze as much with more speed as they can, so in a short time. So they will continue until they will hit the ley line on the left side of the course.
And already the battle is developing near the front on the top of your screen on the far left-hand side as the riders see the race course, the battle between Jessie Kampman and Lauriane Nolot. And a year ago, leading into the games, I would say that Lauriane Nolot had a clear upwind speed advantage, but she hasn't trained that much in the last year. She's lost about 10 kilos of weight, and I suspect the weight difference between Nolot and Kampman is not as big maybe as it used to be. And Kampman, by our early view, looks like she is moving ahead of Nolot. So this is looking like Kampman moving into a strong position already in the early stages of this first race of the day.
Yes, and just to leeward is Brianna, which also she proved to have really a good speed, because she's the only one that has the speed upwind upper than 21 knots.
Yeah, so Brianna Whitehead also tends to be very fast, good, very good straight line speed.
Yeah, so they all now all on port.
So they've done the tack back towards, they're not quite out at that ley line, so they got more space to play with.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see, because we, as we said, just straight after the start, a really quite a massive part of the fleet went into from the center to straight to the right side. Let's see how it's going to work when they start to be really close to the ley line on the right side of the mark, and they start to cross the one coming up.
Interesting to see that some of the Italians on the right-hand side, Tiana Laporte and Sofia Tomasoni, were amongst those port tack starters, and they are now close to or on the starboard ley line, but about 2 or 3 knots slower than our front runners on the left. So that's either boat speed or that there's better wind on the left-hand side. Maybe it's both.
We will know soon, I can tell you. Just a couple of seconds away from knowing the truth, who is gonna get more speed, and at least in front of the other. We can see the top speed. Look at Rina Takan, 22, Kampman 24, 23. So now they were a little bit higher, and they decided to cross probably sooner on port. So they went for a better VMG and not pushing for the angle, but get the speed. And we can see Holly Aldridge, she crossed in front, Hedy Aldridge, she crossed in front. And probably Jessie Zuckerman, also Derina Takan and Heli, they are all in front. There are 5 of them really close.
It could be, couldn't it? It looks like the Olympic champion, Ellie Aldridge, might get round in the lead. and that is really well executed by the British rider, but already it looks like Kampman has managed to get round the inside of Aldridge, so there's a big battle on the first downwind between Kampman and Aldridge for the lead.
Yeah, as we've said before, you see the top 5, they're really, really close each other. The performance they had is really close, and then every single mistake is a loser move. So look at the speed they have, and then soon they will start to have a jibe.
And as you say, there they go. There are the leaders going into the jibe. And Kampman with a marginal speed advantage over Aldridge. Kampman has already moved 25 metres ahead of the British rider. And Kampman looking fast up and down the course right now as they come towards the bottom of the course. And this will be the end of the first lap. Kampman and Aldridge. Aldridge still breathing down the neck of Kampman. Brianna Whitehead going quick. Darren Atakan, the Turkish rider who won a race yesterday, the top youth rider at these championships so far, also looking world class this year.
Amazing to see all the red Kite. On the previous cycle we had all the green, and now all red.
Yes,
oh.
It's the same brand. It's Fly Surfer is proving to be the most popular brand, and it absolutely dominated the latter stages of the Olympic cycle leading up to Paris 2024. And most of the riders are sticking with the brand that they know and they trust. But the Ozones and the Element kites are also going well at times here.
Yeah, really interesting to see the move from Daniela Moroz really, really deep.
Daniela Moroz, winner of the World Championships when it took place here 3 years ago, which was the last of the 6 world titles that Daniela Moroz has won in her distinguished career. She could still win this week, but it's not looking like with these World Championships. But the way that the final day is set up, it's still quite possible for any of those other 7 riders in the medal series to take the gold medal away from Kampman.
Yes, great. So Jessie start to be on the second upwind, and then beside that is Opla.
So there's been a bit of a crash for somebody. We'll see if we can identify who that is.
I think she's Gal Zuckerman, probably.
Could it be Gal Zuckerman? Is that her pink Element kite?
Yep.
And there's another problem here. So this is the hazard, and as soon as you get a pile up, it's really hard for the back markers to pile up. And look at the mess that's ensuing now. One fall can lead to another, and it's an absolute parking lot down here.
Yeah, it become a virtual gate.
And here is the replay of that incident, and we've seen a few of these this week, more in the men's fleet than in the women's fleet, but it's a game of fine margins. And Jessie Kampman, well, she probably isn't even aware of what's happened back at the leeward mark, because one of the beauties of being out in front is that you don't tangle with anybody else out there. And she's now more than 100 meters ahead of Ellie Aldridge, who is back into second with Brianna Whitehead in third. And here's another shot of riders looking to recover their kites and get back up and running, possibly not for this race, but hoping to recover for the start of the next race.
Yes, pretty good to see Ellie Aldridge, how close she stay to Jessie Kampman, and Lauriane not far away anyway. So now they start to be already on port, hitting then the ley line on the right side, and then the last top mark, rounding on the top mark, where Jessie tried to stay as clear as she can from the one behind.
And Jessie Kampman is sailing a lower and faster angle than Aldridge. I don't know if that's intentional to put a more of a hard cover on the British rider, but Kampman has got the freedom of the course to be able to do that, and she's seemingly sailing quite aggressively against Aldridge which is sort of surprising that Jessie feels that she needs to defend the lead as strongly as that. But anyway, if you can, why not, I suppose. Kampman leading, Aldridge in second, Brianna Whitehead from Australia in third, Daniela Moroz from USA in fourth, and Lauriane Nolot in fifth.
So we have a few world champion, old world champion, and few medalists, all in the top 5.
Yeah,
Right, huh?
yeah, it is. It's good to see. It must be really pleasing for Jessie Kampman that she's managed to continue that good form that she carried into the latter stages of the Paris 2024 cycle, but didn't quite do enough to justify selection ahead of Lauriane Nolot. Lauriane Nolot is the reigning world champion still. She won the Worlds in Spain in March 2024, so she's been the world champion for quite a long time. But it looks like the ex-French rider Jessie Kampman, now sailing for the Netherlands, she's certainly in the box seat. She's wearing the yellow bib and sailing impeccably through some really difficult, inconsistent conditions. And as Mirko said earlier, managing to be pretty much the only rider in the male or the female fleet who's managed to be consistent throughout the week in all kinds of conditions.
Yes, exactly. She continued to do so. She's leading on the first race of today.
More than 150-meter lead over Ellie Aldridge, still in second, with Brianna Whitehead in third.
So she jibe, stay on the center of the course, try not to go to the edge, so she will go downwind, staying on the center of the course to have control of all the one behind without taking any risk. I mean, we know that there is always a part of risk because she's eating almost 30 knots on the downwind, but she tried to stay in control of the other riders.
And here comes Ellie Aldridge downwind with Lauriane Nolot behind her. Lauriane Nolot, who was clearly the fastest rider up to Paris 2024. A bit of a surprise that Nolot didn't win the gold medal, but Ellie Aldridge sailed a fantastic regatta at Paris 2024 in the light winds of Marseille to win the gold medal for Great Britain last year, even though she's one of the lighter riders at the front of this Formula Kite fleet, where being a heavier weight tends to reward you with being faster through the water.
Okay, last jibe for Jessie, now in starboard, pointing the mark for the last rounding bottom, the bottom mark, and straight to the finish line. I don't know if still someone close to the mark from the previous tangle that we saw it, but I guess you will try to avoid. No, okay, it sounds clear around the mark. Great.
Yes, that was an absolute pile up earlier, but it's absolutely clear for Jessie Kampman to power her way along the final reach towards the finish line. And that's another race win of many this week for the Dutch rider Jessie Kampman, further cementing her position at the top of the women's leaderboard. And she will be followed by Aldridge from Great Britain and Whitehead from Australia, who will take second and third. We need to turn things around quickly before the next race, so a quick break and back to you shortly. So that was the end of the first of 4 women's races that we saw just then. That's Lily Young. I don't know what happened to Lily Young. Third going into the women's competition today. We'll update you with the full results from that women's race shortly. But we have to get straight into the start of the first of 4 races for Goldfleet men today. We've got 1 minute 40 to the start. And I had some intel from the beach just 20 minutes ago that Jan Stragiotti, the up-and-coming Swiss rider, who's lying in second overall, his mast broke. So that is Jan that we're looking at there in the blue bib. His mast, i.e. the strut that goes down from the board to the foil beneath the water, that broke. And there was a mad scramble with his support team to get him up and running again in time to get out for this race, but we now see race start is delayed. Well, I'm wondering, I'd like to play a video of Stragiotti after winning a race yesterday, because I'm wondering if this lends a clue to why maybe his mast broke just now. So let's see if we can get that up.
Full speed, just push full gas, no holding back. First race not a good start, but I managed to come back. Then first downwind, I had a super tight call with Max and I crashed. We on the late, I dropped and I made the big mess at downwind mark. It was horrible. And then yeah, I went back to the beach. I had like a little bend on my foil. I was like, fuck, I need to change my mast. But the start was already coming up, so I said I'll take the 15. And I went out for the second race and managed to pull off a bullet, which I'm really happy. I think the bend on the mast helped a bit.
So, Mirko, if Jan Stragiotti's had a problem with his mast yesterday after that crash with another rider, I know it's speculation, but what relevance do you think that has to the problems he's had this morning?
No, you know that sometime, as we know, all of the riders, they have the spare mast, the spare foil or spare kite. And sometime when they decide to have a spare, it's just kind of a second choice, which they prefer something else. But sometime they are scared also to change. And this is the proof that he break a mast, he had the spare one, and that was the perfect choice to have it, and it's a proof that to have the spare one as a second choice is still be able to win. This is, I think, is really a good thing for the mental. I don't know, something mental that give you more power than okay, my equipment is perfect because I have first choice, second choice, which I can win with all. I mean, I think it's a really good thing. It's a positive thing for them.
Well,
you break, you change, and you win. I mean,
that's very good.
Yeah.
And Jan Stragiotti, not only has he grown in physical size, but he's really grown in maturity as well. And he's a young rider in what's already a young fleet, of course. I mean, there's still teenagers like Max Mader, who seems like he's been around forever, but is still a teenager. Jan Stragiotti has certainly moved up into the top tier of the senior riders this week, currently lying in second behind Italy's Riccardo Pianozzi, who will be wearing the yellow bib today. Tony Vodicek in third place, the Slovenian Olympic silver medalist, wearing the red. And there towards the beach, you can see in the middle of our picture, wearing green. We don't often see Max Mader in the colour green, but that is the bronze medalist and defending world champion Max Mader, who's been wearing yellow most of the week, finds himself in fourth place. They've got 50 seconds to go, and now is the final approach in towards the start of the first of 4 races today.
I think it's the first time I see Max Mader on green. Honestly, he will remember the picture of today.
Yes,
to be green. He will just figure out that was Cagliari, the only time that you wear the green bib.
Normally we need to dig out some old footage of Max Mader. It's always Max wearing yellow.
Or yellow blue.
Yeah, those those 2 colours. Yeah. So this is a very unusual setup today to see Riccardo Pianozzi in first place and Max Mader in fourth place. How will things end up by the end of the day? We'll have to see. There is Riccardo Pianozzi. 5 seconds to go. putting the Kite into the power zone. Just to his left, it's Max Mader. Max Mader looks like he's already going fast, but so is that Swiss rider to the left, who I've yet to identify. Could even be Carl Mader, I wonder.
Carl Mader, brother. Max brother.
Carl Mader actually really turning on the afterburners this week as well. So interesting that two brothers, Max sailing for Singapore, Carl Mader sailing for Switzerland, training together as a partnership with Jan Stragiotti from Switzerland, but right now fighting for the same air out of this busy start line. And on the far side, that blue Kite, I'm wondering, the blue Kite is what, an ozone, is it?
Yeah, that's the different one.
So in the early stages, it looks like Cameron Maramonides from Greece is going well, and Wojtek Koska from Czechia, winner of a race yesterday in those very random, strange conditions. And we've got a bit of a breakaway between two sides of the fleet. The French, like Benoit Gomez and Théo de Ramacourt, are going out to the right. Axel Mazella has just tacked off out to the right. So the French all going out to the right-hand side fairly early. But most of our front runners still to be found in the left-hand bunch. Riccardo Pianozzi just going into attack in our last picture. So most of the starboard tackers, bit of a problem on the bottom. No, they've pulled it back. It looked like I thought that red Kite bottom right was going to have a problem through the tack.
Yeah, but I would say that the top rider, most of them, they went all the way like same tactics like Jessie Kampman on the woman fleet. They did it all the way to the left and then go for a VMG, little bit lower angle.
Try and go for the maximum speed, even if you're sailing a little bit more distance.
Yeah.
Yannis Maus from Germany also doing well in these early stages. Bruno Lobo from Brazil, he's won a race this week. He's come close in some others. Very impressive considering he's an orthopedic surgeon.
He risks to cross in front, Bruno Lobo.
So you think Bruno Lobo is, so that is Bruno Lobo who's leading.
Oh, who crashed.
It's getting busy on the right-hand side of the picture.
Yeah. So was not that better compared to the port one, the one that went all the way higher. Bruno Lobo is leading now with Benoit Gomez in second.
So Benoit Gomez, he was one of the, possibly even a port tack starter, we didn't see, but he was very early out to the right-hand side. So that seems to work well for Benoit Gomez. But it's Brazil's Bruno Lobo who goes round with quite a nice lead. The orthopedic surgeon who's fixed a lot more knees this year than he's done kite starts. He's barely trained this year. So incredible for him. Now someone's got a problem as they go round. It looks like Riccardo Pianozzi. Is it Pianozzi, the yellow bib in the water?
I spotted the clear bib. It seems to be the yellow one.
And it's got a tangle up with another rider, which I've yet to identify. And what do you think?
I don't see the other one.
No, there's two kites,
but
one rider.
It was from way behind him. I mean, windward to him.
Wow, so that's a disaster for our yellow bib wearer, Pianozzi, who had an 8-point lead going into today. This is an opportunity for Jan Stragiotti and the chasing riders Wojtek and Mader to close the gap on Pianozzi's overall lead. But meanwhile, in this race, Bruno Lobo showing a clean pair of heels to the rest of the fleet. Almost, well, he is now 150 metres ahead of Benoit Gomez in second, and Great Britain's Ryan Dickinson Sam Dickinson in third place. followed by Tony Vodicek in fourth. It looks very close between Dickinson and Vodicek for third and fourth right now.
And you see, Andy, that I probably the other one is Gian Stragiotti, because he's the only one that beside Pianosi that they're not sailing. Is,
Wow.
I mean, looking
taking
on the
each
track.
other out, possibly.
Possible, yeah.
Well, things are opening up for the others then, for Vodicek and Max Mader. Interestingly, all the recent world titles have been won either by Tony Vodicek or Max Mader. So those two have long been rivals, and Pianosi and Stragiotti getting tied up in knots with each other. If those are the two we're talking about, well, that's really opening the door to the recent world champions to really take the fight to the newcomers like Gian Stragiotti and possibly win another world title for Mader or Vodicek. Bruno Lobo, he can't quite string together a whole series, but he's showing some real bursts of speed. Round goes Max Mader. He's quite far back in the pack. That's the green bib. So Max Mader having a pretty awful race as well by his high standards.
Yes, exactly. It's really curious to see. Okay, we saw it just Pianosi with the yellow bib, rounding the mark and go to the right side of the course. So he tucks straight after rounding mark.
It's amazing to think that he's not that far behind, considering what a catastrophic crash that was.
Yes, exactly. I guess he pumped a lot and he tried to go as fast as he can into the downwind leg. But again, you know, when you are first and then you are not leading that course, you try to have the best result you can, because you never know with the discard afterward if it's that point that will help you. And
Absolutely.
then today is the final day where you have to get as much as you can. I mean, in the top 8, yes, but probably he will try to avoid to get out from the top 2.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I guess.
Meanwhile, at the front, Bruno Lobo, I wonder if he's under threat from Benoit Gomez. Benoit Gomez with the Element Kite. He's the designer of the Element Kites. He's a big guy as well. He's got a lot of weight and a lot of power. And I wonder if Benoit Gomez is actually beginning to threaten the lead for Bruno Lobo, which if he's managed to do, bear in mind that at one point Bruno Lobo was 150 meters ahead, but Gomez has gone early out to that right-hand ley line. He looks like he's going about 2 knots faster through the water compared with Bruno Lobo.
Benoit tag.
And that is Benoit with the blue kite there, going fast with the 49ers and Nacras. And that's we just saw that super yacht there. Apparently that's Mirko's uncle's super yacht.
Yeah, no, 84 meter.
84 meter yacht. Well, it's far enough away. It's not causing any wind shadow on Benoit Gomez, who's going super fast with his blue Element Kite, showing that other brands are available other than the Fly Surfer, which is so popular with so many riders.
Oh. It was one kite flapping on the water. Yeah.
So it's really close now between Lobo and Gomez fighting for the front. And these are two riders that we both know, are both capable of winning
Bruno Lobo
races.
and Benoit Gomez.
Super close.
Yeah, shoulder to shoulder.
Yes.
Okay, so Bruno Lobo still in front of Benoit Gomez.
Just. So Bruno Lobo is with the red kite. Benoit Gomez with the blue kite, and quite a big gap back to, is it Lucas Fonseca? Or maybe Tony Vodicek in third, but also Lucas Fonseca from Brazil. So Brazil have 2 riders in the top 4 right now. So amazing performance for Fonseca if he's fighting up there with Vodicek. But we're looking at the battle now for the lead of this race between Lobo on the right and Gomez on the left. Gomez with the blue. Gomez going for the jibe. And he's safely through his jibe. And now Bruno Lobo going for his jibe. And further back, Lucas Fonseca. Max Mader, he was, if he's up in fourth now, he was 12th at the bottom of that last leeward mark. So Max Mader was having a pretty awful race. So he has sailed one hell of a upwind leg to get himself back up into fourth place. I'm not sure what we read from Tony Vodicek, whether that, I don't know if it's his trackers stopped or if Vodicek is still in play. It's hard to know at the moment.
Yes, we have to wait the rounding mark if the tracker will upload again his track.
Benoit Gomez looking fast, looking in control with his blue kite. Pretty much on ley line. It's still very close with Bruno Lobo. Lobo might even have the edge speed-wise on this downwind leg. It could be that Lobo's going to get on the inside and have, well, basically be able to dictate when they jibe. And it's going to be a simultaneous jibe. Let's see who executes the best. Lobo with a marginal advantage and successfully executed. And Lobo is now about 2 seconds in front of Gomez. Lobo needs to keep it together. He's already won a race this week. And Bruno Lobo, the orthopedic surgeon from Brazil, takes the first of 4 races this afternoon. Well done to him. Well done to Benoit Gomez. Also excellently sailed for the Frenchman. And then I think it's Tony Vodicek coming across in third. Lucas Fonseca from Brazil in fourth. Max Mader in fifth. Jan Marciniak in sixth. Karaman Marinides in seventh. And there is Riccardo Pianozzi crossing the line. So an amazing recovery by Pianozzi. He's got himself possibly back into the top 10. So just inside the top 10. Incredible recovery. So he was obviously listening to you, Mirko. Doesn't matter where you are in a race, how badly you're doing. You have to fight for every point of every race because you don't know how important it's going to be later on. There's
yes, exactly.
Max Mader in the green. Good recovery for Max Mader. But probably wishing for more. Probably thinking that's a race that he might have and should have won. But still ahead of his main contenders for the world title, other than Tony Vodicek, who was third. Okay, a quick break. Back to you shortly.
Race series for champions.
So, quite an exciting race at the front of the fleet for any Brazilian fans and French fans. The victory went to Bruno Lobo from Brazil, just ahead of Benoit Gomez, but Benoit Gomez certainly going very quickly in that race. And the breeze seems to be holding up very nicely. We've got, I think it's 5 different continents represented here from all the riders. We've got some riders from the Philippines competing here, maybe not up the front of the fleet, but kiting is really popular in Asia. Let's hear from our riders from the Philippines.
A lot of maybe like 3 flights, a couple hours, maybe like around 20 hours or 28 hours to get here. It was a long trip. It was a bit tiring.
I'm here to practice more and preparing for the SEA Games this coming December 9. So be good to race with all the top riders here.
Kiting is big in Asia. I think it's because of how most of them are islands and everyone's close to the beach, and there's always wind every day where they are from, and it's a great sport to be addicted to. It's a very addicting sport.
In Philippines, especially in Boracay, most of the locals are like, we do kite surfing.
For me, I think it's a really very addicting hobby, and it's a great workout every day. You know, like you don't really have to go to the gym. You can just kite all day, and yeah, it's so much fun. And you can also make a good living out of it, you know, teaching or being in the sport, competing. So with a lot of support, you can get somewhere with kite surfing. So I don't know, yeah, what about you, Syra? What do you think about kite surfing?
Kite surfing is fun. It's like a freedom when you're in the water. So I love kite surfing. Especially this Formula kite, the hydrofoil. I just started this like 2 months ago with the proper gear. So it's so much, the feeling is different than just doing kiteboarding. This is my first international competition, so I'm a bit nervous, but at the same time, I think it's great to be here.
I've done a couple foiling competitions, mostly regional, I would say, but a couple in Asia and maybe 2 international so far. I'm feeling calm. I'm feeling great. Like I'm here to just like see how hard I can push myself and see how far I can go with this foiling, pretty much. So I'm gonna put all my best effort out there and see what happens.
Two riders from Boracay, kiting and water sport paradise in the Philippines, and yeah, the riders have come over from Asia, from Thailand and from Singapore as well. They're enjoying pretty nice tropical conditions here, aren't they? It's still very warm for this time of year, Mirko.
Yes, I was talking with the Philippine and the Thai team and so on. They don't feel so bad. I mean, they come here, it's October, and they say, great, also the water temperature is fine. And okay, we can see Ricardo with his wife, Georgia.
And they only recently got married, right?
Yeah, just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Last week of, last Friday of August.
Right. So only a little more than a month married.
Yeah.
And Georgia, she was an IQ foil competitor. Is she making the switch across to kite, or what's she doing?
Yeah, she did. She decided to switch to kite. She do well, but just a couple of months ago, she had to have a surgery in her knee. So now she has to recover well before to start training and have some kite in the hands.
It's a pity that she wasn't able to compete this week.
But it's better to decide as early as possible.
Sure.
Better to lose this one than the next one.
No. Absolutely.
Yeah. Great.
And there are the standings after the update from that race just now. So Bruno Lobo, the winner of that race, is still not in the top 10.
It was not a good one.
And that's Jessie Kampman.
Yeah.
Jessie Kampman, through all the trouble that everybody else has had to put together a consistent set of scores, she has risen above everyone else in her ability to keep on winning races, just as we saw her win the first of the women's races today. And so dominant. We actually got an interview with Jessie earlier in the week. We didn't quite know how good she was going to be at that point, but let's hear what Jessie had to say.
I wouldn't say it hurt to not compete for Paris because we all knew the rules of the game. After the selection for the games, so since last May, I took a long break from kite foiling and training. The whole of last summer I was basically just doing every other sport than kiting. I needed to do something else. At the beginning of this year I had my screws removed from my ankle that I had from my accident 2 years ago. So I was in rehab, and I was also working in a hardware shop for for nearly 3 months. So yeah, I was just doing other stuff, and I was also busy with dealing with my transfer to the Netherlands. So that was the perfect time to just see other people and see different environments, because we're pretty much in a bubble in the sailing world, and it's actually quite nice to talk about other stuff and meet new people. And I just got back into proper training since June, July, basically. Annelies Lammets used to compete for the Netherlands, so for the Paris 2024 cycle. She got a bronze medal, so well done to her, because she fought for that medal, so yeah, hats off. And now she's looking to do something else. She's retiring from Olympic sailing. I was talking with Annelies before the end of the last campaign, and she knew I had a Dutch nationality, and I was talking to her about it. I was thinking of changing and looking for something that suited me better in the program, and Annelies, well, described how the Dutch program worked, and like it was a no-brainer really, and she really just said, come, like it's great, they take care of us, and the program is really nice. So I got attracted about how they function, and so I switched from France to the Netherlands. I wouldn't say it hurt to not compete for Paris, because we all knew the rules of the game. There's only one person per country who goes to the games, and I mean, we sign up for it when we campaign, so it's not a disappointment as in it feels unfair, because, well, we all know how it works. Obviously, I would have loved to be there and compete with everyone, but yeah, I'm going for another cycle, and I hope that this cycle I can give it my best shot.
So Jessie Kampman, she's been on quite a journey these past few years, having that massive injury, having to take so many months out of kiting, and then coming back in time to do the French trials for Paris 2024. And she came back even faster after having pretty much having to learn how to walk again, let alone learn how to kite again. So she's been on a real journey. And I suppose I don't really like that old cliche of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but I think maybe it is true in Jessie Kampman's case, as it gives her the grit and determination to keep on pushing and really fight for every meter of the race course, like we saw her do earlier. Like take that quite strong defence against Ellie Aldridge when she was already leading that race quite comfortably. But we'll come back to women in a bit, because there are top men, and you can see that things have closed up. So Max Mader didn't have the best race, but he had a better race than most of his competitors. And Tony Vodicek actually was 26th. No, in fact, failed to finish that race. 26 points for failing to finish the race. So he's had a disaster. Jan Stragiotti, well, he managed to get back to 5th, which is very impressive. Riccardo Pianozzi got back to 10th. Max Mader, he climbed from a bad start to get 4th. So it's really, really close. And it's so important to the difference between 1st and 2nd and 3rd going into the final day for this 8-rider medal final. The massive implications there. Bruno Lobo, well, winning that race has moved him up to 9th. He needs to get up to 8th. If he can win another race like he did just now, maybe he could displace someone like Jan Voster or Jan Marcinak, the German and Polish riders that are just sitting on the inside of the 8-rider medal race cutoff. So Bruno Lobo, you know, you managed to do it once today. If you can do it again, it might be enough to get Brazil up into contention for the medal series tomorrow.
Yeah, and him, when you get to the final, he can push a lot because he has nothing to lose. We know that his strength is his head when you get to the final day race, and it's really focused and super fast. So it's not, I mean, for the leader, having Bruno Lobo in the top 8 medal series is not really good. I mean, it's good for him.
Good for him.
Yeah.
But it's a different style of racing. Just 4 riders on the racetrack, a lot more open space, a lot more about speed, less about big fleet strategy. Right, we'll go to a quick break. Shortly back to you. Right, and I think we have women's results updated now. Let's look at the scores on the doors. I can confidently predict that, yes, Jessie Kampman is in the lead and extends her lead yet further by winning that last race. Ellie Aldridge back up into third place thanks to finishing in second. And Brianna Whitehead third in that race, just a point behind Ellie Aldridge. But still quite a lot to do to close the gap on Lauriane Nolot. It looks like Kampman and Nolot are going to be the two that book their place in the women's four-rider final tomorrow. So Ellie Aldridge and Brianna Whitehead in a battle with the likes of Elena Lengvila, Daniela Moroz and Lily Young, who'll be very disappointed to have dropped from third to seventh after finishing just 15th in that race. So the points extremely tight, as you can see, between third place and seventh. And Darren Atakan has got that last important eighth spot with quite a big gap back to her. So it looks like the top eight are pretty much locked in. It's just a matter of what order they're going to emerge at the end of the day, because I don't think that Mafalda Pires de Lima from Portugal or Francis Lisa Caval can really close that points gap on Darren Atakan.
Yeah, on the last day when you go to the final, last final racing day with more than 20 points, it's going to be pretty difficult to climb up. Probably you can win or gain one places, but not much than that. Compared between the third to the sixth, where only 4 or 5 point difference, then it can change quite a lot.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that is Lily Young that we're looking at there. I can't quite tell.
On green, Elena Lengvila.
Oh, it's Elena Lengvila.
Swiss Helbeth.
I'm getting my bib colours mixed up, but yes, that is Elena Lengvila, and Lily must be in red.
Yeah.
And Elena Lengvila, she was coming on really strong towards the end of the Olympic cycle. People were wondering if she was actually going to win a medal, and I don't think she quite got enough experience behind her. She's had excellent straight line speed, but not all the kiting skills, all the racing skills yet required. So she didn't quite make it to a medal Paris 2024. She struggled in the early part of this week, but she's had a fantastic day yesterday, as did Lily Young from Great Britain. And there is Lily in the red.
So less than a minute, 50 seconds to go for the second gold for women. Let's see if the tactics will be the same. And Jessie, she will try to take her spot close to the pin. Pretty curious.
She likes that, doesn't she? She likes coming in from the pin. It seemed to work for her pretty well in the previous race. So let's see if she'll be able to execute a similar kind of start. It's the excuse me. The left-hand end of the line, as the riders look at it, it's the right of our screen, and I'm pretty sure that in there is Jessie Kampman. I think Jessie Kampman is.
We will have some port starter. Huh?
Yeah, we had some port tax starters in the previous race as well. It's a clear start. It looks from this angle like it's a good start for Jessie Kampman. And yet again, she's managed to win the pin end of the line. So not only is she really fast through the water, she's really good at start line placement. And look at the gap she's already got on the right of your screen. I mean, she's clear out ahead on that side. And right now, in these early stages, you'd have to say that Jessie Kampman is winning this race already.
No, she did an amazing start on time distance, super clear ahead. Just pointing the pin all the way full speed out of the starting line. This is I think she did the perfect manual starting sequence.
How, I mean, surely other people want to do the same thing. Or I know this from my own racing. Some people get so good at winning the pin end. Francesco Bruni used to be that guy, the Italian, when I raced him in the 49er many years ago. It was almost, no, that's Francesco Bruni's spot. You're not allowed to go there. I don't know if it's the same with Jessie Kampman in this fleet.
Yeah, I mean, it's already the second time that she did almost the same. On the third time, we can call it her, and then we will make it happen to meet with Keko Bruni over the next few days.
Yeah, who would win the battle of the pin end if it was being Keko Bruni and Jessie Kampman?
Exactly.
Here are some of our port tackers, the early on to port tack brigade, and we've seen from the men, Benoit Gomez in the men made the right-hand side of this race course pay, so it's quite possible that it could work. Gisela Pulido is one of those out here. Maria Dolence, Julia Damasovic, Lauriane Nolot. Lauriane Nolot is leading the charge out to the right-hand side, so a different approach to the first beat for Nolot. Let's see how that's going to work out. So we got a battle for the top of this race course between two French teammates and rivals from the past cycle. Now they're rivals from different countries because Jessie Kampman's moved across to the Netherlands. Who's going to win this wrestling match, this arm wrestle between Nolot on the right, at the bottom right-hand side of your screen, and Jessie Kampman towards the top of your screen, who is leading the charge from the left.
Yes, always. And you can see also through the tracking, you can see the bending, which probably the wind, I mean, it's a thermic wind, and it changed quite a lot in terms of angle from the right side to the left. So it's really curious to see at the hand of the two on the right side, they go up, they close to the rounding mark, close each other. Just the speed that makes the difference, not a lot of that one side is pay more to the other. So you can see almost the same, it's even. I don't know how to say
it is very even, but I thought it was going to be Kampman. It looks like it's going to be Elena Lengvila who has gone round in the leading pack. Exactly. So Elena Lengvila is now leading Lauriane Nolot down the first run. And, well, these in the past have certainly been two of the fastest riders in a straight line. Daniela Moroz, six-time world champion, won the last of her 6 titles here out of Poeto Beach 3 years ago, not being quite so well beating in the past 2 years as the rest of the fleet caught up on Moroz's speed. Someone's having problems at the whim of Mark, but we're following down with the leaders. And at the moment, it's Switzerland's Lengvila who leads Nolot from France with Isabelle Satrian in third and Zoe Boutang in fourth. Moroz in fifth. Pulido from Spain in sixth. So I'm wondering what's happened to Jessie Kampman. This is a rare slip by Jessie Kampman, and there's a few other notables missing from the front of the pack. Ellie Aldridge, Lily Young. Bit of a surprise. I wonder if Ellie Aldridge got caught up in some kind of tangle or something. I think she's back in the 20s, so not a good race for Ellie Aldridge in this race right now.
But again, I really like when there is changing name on between the leaders.
I agree. I mean, that's what we love to see. And right now, it's Elena Lengvila from Switzerland who is leading towards the bottom of the course, but closely chased by Lauriane Nolot. Nolot, the more experienced of the two. Nolot's been here many times. This is still fairly new territory for Lengvila, so will Nolot be able to exert some pressure from all the experience that she brings from winning world championships, European championships, that Olympic silver medal? Huge amounts of determination, but so far Lengvila resists the pressure, She's about to go round in the lead, very, very closely by, followed closely by Lauriane Nolot, and a 100-metre gap back to Brianna Whitehead from Australia, who's moved up to third.
Yeah, she did really a great mark rounding with the perfect timing, perfect angle. And did you see with the trim line on his head and then putting the right angle on the kite just to go upwind? It was really perfectly executed.
And Kampman has really made a good comeback. I thought Kampman was in more trouble. I don't know if we missed something there, but Kampman...
She was at the front, and then at some point we missed it when she tuck on port, and then when she appeared, she was behind. So probably it was during the tuck, or kind of she had to avoid a couple of other riders.
What surprises me after that amazing start she had, how Kampman wasn't already comfortably leading by the top mark. So I'm not sure if she had a bad tack or something, but
yeah, probably yes.
Or hit something. I mean, maybe a fish or something in the water.
There is some fish. Luckily, it's pretty clear water here in Puerto, but probably a fish. We will ask her.
I mean, I'm not hearing any complaints. Oh, there's a bit of a splash for one of our leaders, but they've recovered. But a brief splash there for somebody at the front. Yeah, I mean, you're not hearing complaints about plastic bags at this venue, which is nice to know, isn't it?
I mean, luckily we have a really great water, I would say, all around Sardinia. Glad to see that, because I mean, everyone that come here, and then everyone else also that they're working or living in the marina, they're really trying to pushing since many years to keep the sea as clean as we can, because we love to see that.
Well, it's good for tourism, surely, isn't it? And you know, we go to other venues where plastic bags in the water do determine sometimes the outcome of a race, which is a real shame to see.
Yes.
Elena Lengvela continues to lead ahead of Lauriane Nolot, Daniela Moroz in third, and Jessie Kampman in fourth. Isabel Satrian fifth, Brianna Whitehead sixth, Erin Etikan in seventh. And Lily Young, third going into today, lying in 10th place. So bit of a substandard day for Lily Young so far. And Ellie Aldridge also struggling back in around 20th place. That's the Olympic champion from Great Britain, but not putting herself under too much pressure at this event because she really hasn't put in the training. Around goes Elena Lengvela with that blue kite, still leading, and has stretched the gap, had superior upwind boat speed compared with Lauriane Nolot, who is now more like 100 meters behind. And Jessie Kampman up into third, possibly even second place. Gust coming down, you could just see the dark water of a gust that will be reaching the windward marks sometime around now. So there are pulses of breeze. Lengvela has really stretched the gap on the chasing pack. I still think that Nolot is in second.
Yep.
I just think there's something not quite right with Lauriane Nolot's tracker. So I think we could assume that Nolot is second and Jessie Kampman in third. And there's Lengvela on the left. And who is that with the yellow and black kite?
Yeah, it should be someone Lapid.
Oh, okay, not a front runner.
No.
Yeah.
Looking on the way that is diving or tacking or crashing. For sure, it was not a front runner.
I don't think it's Lauriane Nolot anyway.
No.
So Elena Lengvela with the green bib in the centre of your picture, just coming down towards the bottom of the course, looking fast, looking comfortable.
With the blue ozone kite.
Nice to see the ozone kites making a comeback. They were so popular a few years ago, but the fly surfer really started to dominate. But we have got a new cycle with a new registered equipment for this 4-year Olympic cycle leading up to Los Angeles 2028. Fly surfer still seems to be the dominant kite brand, but we are seeing the Element perform well. We saw that with Benoit Gomez earlier this afternoon. And now the blue ozone kite of Elena Lengvila about to come across the finish line, and a victory for Switzerland, well executed, resisted the pressure from Lauriane Nolot and actually stretched away to a very comfortable victory in the end. And let's see if we can just...
Jessie Kampman.
Jessie Kampman up to second.
Yes.
So Nolo's back on the tracker. So Nolot has dropped. Kampman, I thought was going to win that race. Second's not too bad, is it?
Yeah. And Moros and then Nolot with the blue bib.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we have to come out of this with a quick break. We'll be back to you again shortly. Right, and we're looking at Riccardo Pianozzi with the yellow bib just to the right of your screen. So we're getting ready for the men's race. It's a fast turnaround between the end of the women's race and the start of the men, so we can't always bring you all the detail that we'd like to at the end of the women's racing, but we will update you with the new scores with that latest result embedded in the scores with Elena Lengvila from Switzerland, certainly improving her position after winning that race ahead of Jessie Kampman, who ended up in second place. And Riccardo Pianozzi, who had a crash earlier in the earlier men's race, he'll be looking to set a cleaner race this time round. We've got just under 2 minutes to go. And in the red, that's Tony Vodicek from Slovenia, the Olympic silver medalist. Riccardo Pianozzi, he was fourth at the Olympics. Did you get a chance to catch up with Riccardo about that? I mean, fourth is the worst place to finish at a Games in some ways, isn't it?
Yes, but I would say in just one word, he digest.
Yeah.
It was the first Olympic. He proved that he can have a medal in his neck. And the last day was a really amazing performance for him. The system that we had in place doesn't allow him to have any medal, but it was well executed, all the Olympics. It just started not on the right way, because for the first Olympic, because you are young, because you don't have experience, and so on and so on. But he's getting better and better. I mean, physics point of view, performance point of view, and mainly the head.
Yeah, he's been a very solid rider at youth level. He's always been in a close battle with Max Mader. I think it's frustrated Riccardo Pianozzi at times that Max Mader has generally managed to beat Pianozzi in most of their head-to-heads. But right now, it's Pianozzi who's wearing the yellow bib. It's Max Mader who is playing catch-up. And we have got a really close battle between the top four, between Pianozzi, Stragiotti, Mader and Vodicek. Stragiotti is the big surprise here. He's going so well this week. 10 seconds to go. Looks like a port-tack start.
This is going to be risky. 5 seconds to go, be on port. I don't know if they keep the gate.
Pianozzi doesn't really look like he's going for this. I don't understand.
Okay, so we saw a crash from the pin, and we saw that Pianozzi had to avoid somebody.
So it says race committee clear start, which technically is true, but it's certainly not a clear start in terms of the amount of damage and splashdowns that we see near the pin end of the line. And Pianozzi, he looked like he almost wasn't bothering to start, but as you correctly predicted, Mirko, it was he wasn't given much choice. I think maybe he just had to avoid what he could see was this pile-up developing.
Exactly. But likely he avoided, and I mean, he decided to go to port anyway. Unfortunately, he had to lose some space to avoid a collision between somebody else, but at least it seems to be clear ahead now, together with different, because there is a really quite big amount of port starter from Lucas Walton, Benoit Gomez, Cameron Marmenides, Martin Dolenc, Wojciechowska, and Riccardo Pianosi, all on port.
Yeah, the right-hand side is becoming much more popular, and that's Jan Stragiotti in the blue just going into attack. He's almost got the left-hand side of the race course, usually the busy side of the race course. He's pretty much got it all to himself.
Exactly, but partially because we saw many
crashes.
Crashes close to the pin, so probably some of them they still on the water.
Yes, and I'm wondering if Max Mader and Tony Vodicek are part of the problem.
Exactly, Tony Vodicek, you can see it. I don't know. Let's see.
So, I mean, Mader, he's so good at staying out of trouble. Mader's got into so much trouble, so many scrapes this week. It's really unusual to see.
Yes, exactly. So Giannis Mouse and Tony Vodicek and Max Mader, it seems, according to the tracking, that they still swimming close to the pin.
Wow.
Not a good race for them.
Amazing. I wonder if we've just witnessed the moment when this world title slipped away from them. Of course, anyone in the top 8 can still win on the final day, but the lower down the order you start the final day, the higher the mountain, the steeper the mountain that you have to climb. Riccardo Pianosi, well, he was forced to not quite execute the start that he was looking to achieve. But despite that, it seems that Pianosi has managed to get his way up towards the front of this fleet again, which is quite amazing.
Yes, the choice that we spotted him on port at 10 seconds to go. It was clearly that he had in mind this tactics. I want to go to the other side, hit the lane line, and go round in the mark as soon as possible. And it means that he got it because now he's first on round in the mark.
Now, I wonder why what the fleet spotted about what's so good about the right-hand side. We haven't seen the right-hand side so favoured, but it seems to have worked out extremely well for Pianosi and his port tack start. Jan Stragiotti, he went out to the left pretty much all on his own. Well, he's gone around in second place. So we've got our yellow and our blue bibs, our two front runners going into today in first and second right now, while the more experienced Max Mader and Tony Vodicek, who were breathing down the necks of these guys, have had a disaster at the start with that multiple rider tangle up at the pin end.
Yes, you know what, I think they decided to go to the right side just because they see some more, probably some more consistent breeze. But again, it's not that favorite because you see Jan Stragiotti all the way to the left and him all the way to the right on port, and they are first and second at the end. So still pretty even.
And looking at their track downwind, most of the running is to be made on starboard jibe. So there's actually a little bit of skew in the course as well. I don't know if that is a factor.
Yeah, for probably the wind increase a little bit more, so when it increase, they can go more deep, and you can spot a little bit less the angle of the wind. They are going really, really deep now. That means that the kite is well powered up.
Riccardo Pianosi doing about 32 knots downwind in about 10 knots of true wind, so incredibly efficient racing machines, these Formula kites. And Pianosi going into the jibe, he's just pumping his way out of the jibe, and even got a moment to look around and see what's happening upwind. Very nicely executed leeward mark rounder. He made that look very easy.
And he looked behind because he spotted the blue lycra, the blue beep just behind him. He just turned the view back to see, okay, I got like 25 meters in front, stay calm. And Jan Stragiotti for sure is happy also to be there because is a good way to gain points.
Yeah, I mean, Jan Stragiotti, it's maybe not as much as a surprise to him and anyone who's trained with him recently, but this is a really strong showing at senior level for this still young rider who's been training very closely with the rest of the Swiss team, which includes Karl Mader and Max Mader, the Singaporean, who has teamed up and started training with the Swiss. And to be racing with somebody who's won so many major titles as Max Mader must give Jan Stragiotti great confidence if he can come anywhere close to matching Max Mader's performance. And at the moment, Stragiotti is exceeding Max Mader's performance. Max Mader had a very difficult day yesterday. He's having a difficult day today, as is Tony Vodicek.
Then we have to remember that Max Mader, we saw him swimming and having the trouble on the starting, so probably he will not have any good score on these races. And then Jan Stragiotti, he had 1 point in front of on the general result to Max Mader, so he will extend some lead to the third. He will try to secure to be on the grand final with Riccardo Pianosi, but we don't want to say too much.
No.
Let's see.
There's still a way to go, but that would be pretty exciting for you and many other fans of sailing and kiting here in Cagliari if Riccardo Pianosi could take out a world title here.
But I can tell you, it would be really nice to see Pianosi and Stragiotti on the grand final, compared to what you said just before, that always between Pianosi and Mader, Mader unfortunately has some bad crash and bad moment, and we know it's really good to stay away from trouble, and over the last couple of races he has trouble.
Yeah, and in other races this week as well, particularly yesterday. It's really unusual to hear Max Mader getting caught up in trouble because he's normally so good at staying away from it. And we're coming in towards the top of the course for the second time round, and Pianosi still leading Stragiotti with Sam Dickinson from Great Britain up into third in a very close battle with Martin Dolenz of Croatia, Cameron Maramonides from Greece, Lucas Fonseca from Brazil having another great race, Wojtek Koska from Czechia. I see that Axel Mazzella is knocking on the top 10 door as well, the French rider. Mazzella, we're not hearing much about him this week. Normally he's racing at the front of these fleets, but Mazzella not quite on his best form this week. Meanwhile, around the top of the race course, this is back with the back end of the top 10. So we're looking at the likes of Dolenz, Fonseca, Marciniak, Koska, Mazzella and Lobo, and also Noah Runciman from USA. That's Benoit Gomez jibing with his blue kite.
Yeah, it seems they are quite front forward, Stragiotti and Pianosi.
Yeah, Pianosi and Stragiotti a long way ahead of the rest of the pack.
Yeah, but good result also for Sam Dickinson, being on third and then get in front of all the other.
Yeah, Sam Dickinson going really well this week. He was up in 5th place overall a couple of days ago. He slipped down a bit to 9th. So he's one of those riders that's really looking to try and get his spot into the top 8. And how's he doing on that at the moment? He's got a way to go, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's a way to go. Let's see. Yes.
He's in 10th place.
He's in 10th place with more than 10 points. Not easy, but if he continue to perform within the top 5, it will make it really closer.
Here comes Pianozzi towards the bottom of the course. He started pumping his legs. I wonder if he's jibed a little bit early. Is he having to soak down and add a little bit of power through his legs? Has he jibed a bit too soon? I think he's going to be okay. He's 100 meters ahead of Stragiotti. And Riccardo Pianozzi about to go round the bottom mark, and then the fast reach, just a few more meters to the finish. And it's going to be an important victory for the young Italian. Married just a month ago, and now victory for the local hero, Riccardo Pianozzi, ahead of Jan Stragiotti, who is going to come across in second. And there's the young Swiss rider taking second place, and then a much closer battle for the next spots. It's going to be Sam Dickinson from Great Britain who takes third, Cameron Maraminides from Greece in fourth, Martin Dolenz from Croatia fifth, Jan Vosta in sixth.
Yeah, this result on the second gold of today, it will mix it up a little bit, the result of the top on the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, we've yet to see when we get the updated results board in a few minutes' time. We'll see what effect that disastrous start has had for Max Mader and Tony Vodicek, who I'm not sure if they're still on this race course competing or not. I think maybe they're not even bothering to finish this race, but I couldn't say that for sure. Anyway, we will go to a quick break and we'll come back to you shortly. So we've just seen the end of the men's Gold Fleet Race 6, and it was won by Riccardo Pianozzi, the local hero from Italy, just ahead of the up-and-coming Swiss rider Jan Stragiotti. We're going to be bringing you an update of the next race for the women coming up shortly. One of the leading lights is the top French rider Lauriane Nolot, fighting to see if she can defend her world title, which she won in Spain about 18 months ago. Let's hear what Lauriane Nolot has had to say about her time since winning an Olympic silver medal in Paris.
3 days after like the medal, I broke my talus. So celebrating in Paris, I went to the Club France, celebrating with all the Frenchies and stuff. And then when I came back to my parents' house, I went to trampoline park, and yeah, I did like a wrong jump, wrong reception. I snapped my ankle, I broke my talus. Yeah, it's crazy. I've never got injured doing kite surfing, but I think it's just we know how to crash or to avoid the injury. When I'm going to the trampoline, I have no idea how to jump, and like I was just throwing myself in and trying to spin and whatever. And yeah, I think I kind of lost where I was, and bah! So I had to go through immobilization and then surgery, then the rehab. And I was able to go back on the water early this year in January. Not super exciting, but at least I had to do some other stuff than kiting, and it was pretty nice as well. And it was a good experience because it was the first time I took such a long break from kiting. I used to kite every single day. I think thanks to this injury, I took time for myself to do other things, to reconnect with my family. And this time for me was perfect because I could just chill, slow down everything, And yeah, think a little bit about my life and what I wanted to do. And I could focus on other things like the sports. I started to do CrossFit, lots of gyms, the diet, because like my physio advised me to start, and I was like, okay, why not? It's pretty interesting. And then it was this year in June that I did this event, and yeah, I was so excited. I was actually super stressed the morning. I think I was even more stressed than when I'm coming here to race. Yeah, after like the full day of like competition and all the exercise, I was dead, but I managed to finish on the podium third, so I was super excited, like really, really excited. Coming here, I wasn't really expecting anything because I know I lost a lot of weight and I haven't kited that much this year. So yeah, I think I've trained way less than other girls, but still I saw yesterday that I can still manage to be in like with the front pack. So I'm gonna try to continue this way, try to gain pace every single day, and yeah, we'll see how it goes, but yeah, I'm excited.
Well, that was Lauriane Nolot, one of my favorite riders on this circuit. She's so much fun. What's less fun is hearing that it sounds like there might have to be a bit I just heard there was going to be a delay, but wind is coming back, but it's been a little bit flaky over the last few minutes. Some of the riders struggling to keep their kites flying. It's been a bit like that this week, Mirko. You've been looking at the weather. How do you see it panning out for the rest of the day?
No, you know, this is the moment of the day where the land starts to be really warm. So the thermal breeze, which we have now from south, should be okay. But we know that on the center of Sardinia, on the west coast, we have some Mistral, still some Mistral. So there is a flow offshore wind that it might block the sea breeze when it gets closer to the shore. So this is why at some point, I mean, randomly, it's not a particular time, it will just decrease the wind. So probably it was one of those times. I really hope that stay the sea breeze, because it's going to be way easier for everyone to keep these 10, 9, 10, 11 knots, and it's going to be perfect.
Yes, yeah. I've probably been, this is maybe my fourth time working here, reporting here on Puerto Beach, and this is the warmest that I can remember, because we always tend to come in late September, early October time, and I remember wearing woolly hats on other occasions. It hasn't been woolly hat weather this week. It's been much more about the Mistral other times I've been here, and the Mistral, we can still see the clouds at high level going overhead at Mistral direction, but this extra warmth, because it's been a hot summer in Europe generally, we're still getting these sea breezes, which are sort of helping us but also hurting us in other ways, it feels like.
Yeah, this summer has been one of the hottest. I don't remember, it was a few times on news, on TV news, saying about the temperature, how hot it is, which it was one of the top 5 over the last century. So for sure, something has been different compared to other years. And I can tell you, the period end of July, already June, July and August, some of those days with the temperature close to 40 degrees was quite intensive for Sardinia. And we had a couple of days in a row without wind. So let's say sea breeze with southeast like an air dryer. It was quite insane. And obvious now we had some rain over the last few weeks, and then the temperature changed a little bit. And this is why, I mean, the water is super warm, because I don't know if you had the chance to swim on the sea, but it's really warm. You can do without any wetsuit, and then the temperature is really nice, because during the day we have always more than 25, 26 degrees, which is great for October.
Yeah, I've had man flu the last 10 days or so, so I haven't been in the water, but I'm here for another week because we've got the 49 and NACRA 17 World Championships, 2 other Olympic classes taking place in these same waters next week, and occasionally you can see some of them training in the background of some of our shots during this Formula Kite World Championship racing. Now, talking of Olympic classes, formats are really a hot topic right now, quite a controversial discussion on social media. We asked the reigning Olympic champion, Ellie Aldridge, what she thought about race formats and why it's so important to get it right.
The beauty of sailing is that we have so many variables that are involved in our racing. We've got the wind, we've got the waves, we've got different kite sizes, we've got so much going on the race course, and that's the reason why we have a long series of races. That's why we have 4 or 5 days of racing beforehand, and you do lots of races, and the best person overall in those conditions will come out on top. We've heard from quite a few different people that sailing is changing, the way that it's broadcasted is changing, and the format is going to change. The kite format has been really good for all of last cycle, and I think everyone should definitely look at it and see what they think for the other classes. Top 2 go through to the grand final, and then it's a battle out to win the final, but with the caveat that if you go in first place, so if you've won the week, you have already got a race win. It may be more than 1 race, but it's unlikely to be more than 4 races, I think. It's not often that you have more than 2 races in a final. And also it creates an element of excitement, you know? If someone else wins, you're like, wow, like this is carrying on, this is really exciting. It grips you to the TV, like you want to stay watching for longer. I think this format has total relevance to any Olympic class, any sailing class. I know the boards have been doing it since forever, really, and the windsurfing have been doing a similar format last cycle, but for sure it can be done for the Ilkas, the 49ers, for 70s, everything. Like, it can be still as exciting for them as it is for us, and still make it fair for everyone in that top 8 going into the last day.
So that was Ellie Aldridge, clearly very passionate about wanting to get a format that still rewards the right racer with the gold medal. When the person who's won the competition stands up on the top step of the podium to receive that gold medal, they should be getting the biggest round of applause. And if it turns into, if a new format, the ultimate sudden death format where pretty much anyone can win going into the final race, I do think that is taking the sport too far. It's taking the sport away from where it should be. But anyway, it's a really controversial topic. I think Ellie Aldridge was very eloquent, and I agree with pretty much everything she said there, and I probably feel even a bit more strongly about it than she does. With these formats, it's also important that race management revolves around these change of formats and adapts accordingly, and the way that you go about the refereeing now is also changing accordingly. It's a long way from taking things to the protest room and having to wait a few hours before you actually know who's won the gold, silver and bronze medal. So let's hear about how the refereeing is done.
Kiteboarding is different. It is very fast, it is three-dimensional, and the board is really short. The sail is really far away from the kiteboarder. Because of those characteristics, it was clear that the classic ways of monitoring the fairness of the final series would not work. We needed to come up with a different solution. For the Paris 2024 cycle, video umpiring was utilized, and that worked well, but there is always space for improvement. For the LA cycle, we're trying to develop video refereeing. This doesn't change the game for the sailors. What is different is how we monitor and we ensure the fairness. The judges are watching the race through video feeds. They can replay the action as many times as they want, and if someone is observed breaking a rule, then they are penalized. Apart from this being very comfortable for the judges compared to being on a wet rib bouncing in waves on the water, this increases the quality of the decisions by improving the quality of the information that they get in order to base their decision. For the International Kiteboarding Association, this means that we constantly need to test and develop our technology And unfortunately, we don't have an unlimited budget, so we need to be funds conscious on that. We need to educate and train as many race officials as possible in order to ensure the fairness across not only our events, but all the events that are run around the world. And last but not least, we need to adapt the rules in order to allow for this kind of technological solutions to be implemented in our racing.
So that's how much the kites are looking to move things on. Not only are these the fastest, most efficient forms of sailing craft that we've ever seen in the Olympics, able to sometimes get close to 4 times speed through the water compared with actual true wind speed that's driving these kites along. Not only are they spectacular to look at, but they have been pioneering race formats that I really hope the rest of the sailing world will sit up and pay attention to, because this is being discussed like it's a new problem. This problem's been around for years. The old formats don't work for the demands of what the International Olympic Committee want. So even though this is boards and it's kites, it's still sailing. And it doesn't matter whether it's Ilkas or 49ers or 470s or IQ foils or Formula Kite. The same kind of racing format could apply. So I just hope people in positions of influence are watching this weekend, because we've been doing this for a while. We've tested it for a while. So rather than bringing in some untested format that's going to cause havoc with the future of our sport, why not try something that has already proven to work? Here's the leaderboard for the women. So in that last race, Elena Lengvila won that race, and now she moves to within a point of Brianna Whitehead from Australia. So really close 3rd and 4th. That sort of doesn't matter that much, because that means that 3rd or 4th go in pretty much equal tomorrow. There's not much to choose there. Possibly more interesting is Daniela Moroz and Lily Young and Ellie Aldridge are all pretty close on points, and in fact Darren Asikan not far behind as well. So that battle, you want to try and get the 5th and 6th spots for the way the format works tomorrow. But Jessie Kampman and Lauriane Nolot look pretty much untouchable at the front. Jessie Kampman is going to go into tomorrow with a 1-point advantage, and it's the first to 2 points will win the gold medal tomorrow. So once Jessie Kampman has finished today's races, she will be 1 race away from victory, and it's up to Lauriane Nolot and whoever comes through from the knockout rounds into the final to see if they can take races away from Jessie Kampman. 1 minute 15 to go. Jessie Kampman, I'm sure, as Mirko predicted earlier, she'll probably be going for that pin end start, which she seems to have made her own. But is it necessarily the winning move? Because we're seeing the right hand side of the race course also proving to be strong at times, aren't we, Mirko?
This is going to be difficult to predict, because as has been a break, a little bit longer break, because the wind shift a little bit and change. So let's see if it go back to the left or is more righty, because it seems that most of the fleet now is on starboard.
Right, so maybe that was a one-off, or you have to take it on the merits of what you see. Maybe it's a more traditional start that we're seeing this time. And it does look like the bulk of the fleet is lining up in the traditional manner for a starboard tack start.
Probably there is some on port, but let's see.
Some on port for sure.
Yeah, few, but just a few. I guess that
15 seconds to go, and we're focused in on our yellow bib wearer, Jessie Kampman. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and now she puts the power into that kite, and it's a clear start. And how has Jessie Kampman's start gone this time? I think it's another strong one.
And on the pin. She was at the pin. Just straight at the pin.
Very impressive.
Impressive. So 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
You have to call Keiko then.
It's quite amazing. Most of the fleet going out in that direction. Joining her, Daniela Moroz also going well. Lily Young up in the front runners. Brianna Whitehead going well. Elena Lengvila struggling. She didn't have such a great start. She's breathing bad gas off the front pack. So Lengvila, after winning the previous race, not going so well. And Lauriane Nolot even worse. Lauriane Nolot forced to tack out and look for some clear air on the far side. That's Elena Lengvila in the green bib, struggling to find her own clear air. She knows that once she's got the clear space, she's got pretty much the best speed of the whole fleet. But first she's got to put herself in the right place out of the start line.
Yeah, in front we can see, as you said, Moroz, Daniela Moroz, Brianna Whitehead, Jessie Kampman, and Derina Takant are the 4 front runner. Lily Young, quite clear. We can see in the center of the screen, on the center right of the screen.
Oh yeah, looking very strong right now.
Yes, and because over the last few races we didn't see Lily Young on the front anymore.
No, she struggled so far today, but this is more what we expect from her.
Yeah. They will start tacking pretty soon. So 1, 2, 3, everyone on port. Jessie, she's the last to go on port. She's pumping a lot. She wasn't clear during the tack. And probably Lisa Caval just tacking in front of her. Yeah. So now we
Lauriane
have to wait.
Nolot back in the pack, struggling to find a clear lane through all the traffic, having had a not particularly good start. Maya Ashkenazi and Mafalda Pires de Lima from Portugal up there in the front runners. And looks like Mafalda Pires de Lima might cross the pack on port. So they found something good on the right-hand side. So it looks like the right-hand side has worked, but the shift is going back in favour of the left-hand side. It does look like Mafalda Pires de Lima has done enough to get across the front of that pack, though.
Not, but she's pretty close. She's pretty close because she's in front and she just tacked back on port in front of Ellie Aldridge. So we really need to wait that everyone hit the right side of the course on the ley line.
Someone's having a swim up near the front, just not quite able to get there. I think maybe it was a badly executed tack. And in the far distance with the ozone, you can see Elena Lengvila with the blue kite. And it's looking more like an Ilka race. There's a lot of tacking going on. I think it's really patchy and shifty out there right now, Mirko. I think this is very high pressure. This is not so much about pure boat speed. And one of our Elena Lengvila just falling into the water there, coming out of attack and not quite able to keep things going. Yeah. You can see the leaders overstanding on the ley line. That no one wants to do thin ley lines here because it's
not. Yeah, with this kind of wind, when you're so marginal and you don't well executed attack, then you have to pump a lot. And if the kite goes forward, then
this is Ellie. I think this is maybe Ellie. Is it Ellie Aldridge?
Ellie Aldridge and Lauriane behind.
So somehow the Olympic champion who came through all that chaos from the Marseille Olympics last year in horrible wind conditions has managed to find her way round the top of the course while people are swimming behind her. Now, I fear if you're a Ellie Aldridge fan, I wonder if this race is going to stand. This is the difficult scenario now from a race officer point of view, Mirko. If some people can get round the course but a lot can't, when do you decide that it's still a valid race and when is it invalid?
Yeah, I mean, this is obvious. One of the challenge of the race director, keep the 8 eyes open all around the course and figure out until when it stay fair, and if something goes wrong, to have to be brave enough to call it. I mean, it's not an easy moment, and when it starts to fall down the kite, and then you are already on the top mark. But first round, then sometimes it's better to kill it. But again, you really need to be close by and look at with your eyes everywhere on the course before to do that.
When you've got the leader making it look relatively easy, it's sort of, you know, you have to ask yourself, is it still fair enough? If someone
race abandon.
There we are.
We were just talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, well, that's a pity for Ellie Aldridge and Mafalda Pires de Lima and the people that were making sense of those almost impossible conditions, but not that surprising to see the race abandoned. We'll go to a quick break.
R6 Race Series for champions.
And there's the dreaded flag, the blue and white flag saying that it's race abandoned and the wind conditions just not stable enough. And it looks like the sea breeze is caving a little bit and the Mistral is starting to exert its influence. Is that right, Mirko?
So race abandon, that means that the wind is dropping or shifting, or probably what we were explaining before, some Mistral from the land is pushing against the sea breeze and it becomes tricky and tricky, so they are sending everyone probably ashore. Let's see when we exactly, now we have the AP over hotel, that means everyone will be sent ashore.
And there in the hat and the reflective sunglasses is our race officer Michał Jodlowski. He was out on his road bike this morning, as he always is, on the road out to Villa Simius, and then just putting his head down below the hatch was Stuart Childley, former two-time Olympian in the Finn class, finishing 4th at the Olympic Games for Great Britain. He's out here seeing how the kiting world works. He runs some of the biggest races in some of the bigger boats and some of the other conventional dinghy classes. He was race officer for the Admiral's Cup earlier this summer. So he's here to observe how Michał Jodlowski goes about his business. And of course, one of the things that Stuart hasn't had to worry about looking after conventional floating vessels is that when the wind disappears, the sails don't drop to the water. But this is the challenge that we have with kites, is you need a bit of wind to keep your kite in the air. So there's the pretty picture of lots of different colours of kite there, I'm pleased to say, Mirko. It doesn't always seem like that when we're watching them out on the water, but that is quite a rainbow of different colours we're seeing there.
Yeah, we see a lot of old kite, and we know probably the guys from the Silver Fleet, they went to the beach earlier. This is why we have multicolor kite. I would say that when we saw the Gold Fleet, the top 10 is probably they don't have more than 3 or 4 color difference, no more. And 80% are the red fly surfer.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if we're going to have to tolerate a lot of fly surfers of the same colour, I would rather have these red ones than the old grey and green ones, which were far too commonplace in the last Olympic cycle leading up to Paris 2024. They picked that one bottom right is the one that I'm talking about. That's the old school colour, and then you can see this fly surfer, this vibrant red kite in the front of our picture. That's the new fly surfer. So I'd rather have the red. Thanks very much, guys at Fly Surfer. And there's Michal Joglovsky, and getting the full lowdown on his very distinctive choice of clothing when he goes out. I mean, he's probably going to be wearing some kind of blazer or something for the final day tomorrow, because it is medal race day. Tomorrow we'll have something special for sure. Yeah, and he dresses for the occasion, that's for sure. Still assessing whether things can go ahead, but it's not looking very likely. Riccardo Pianozzi, he will retain the yellow bib as things stand. Now, let's see if we can get some updated scores and some results. I don't mind whether it's men or women. We're going to look at one of them, one after the other. So let's bring up some results and have a look at how things are going. So we're looking at the men. And, well, look at the gap. Riccardo Pianozzi only 4 points ahead of Jan Stragiotti, but if things stop this afternoon, that means that Pianozzi will carry the yellow bib and the advantage of going straight through to the final with a points advantage. Jan Stragiotti, what an amazing performance so far for this rider. To carry the blue bib into tomorrow means he also has a spot straight into the final. The big surprise really is the Max Mader hasn't yet booked his spot in the final. That almost never happens. Still, he does hold third place. Not a disaster, but he's going to have to fight his way out of the knockout rounds. And, well, big riser of the day, the Czech rider Vojta Koska, rising to fourth place, just displacing Tony Vodicek from one of the coloured bibs. Vodicek and Gomez, who's had such a great day on his blue element kite, now up to sixth. And Jan Voster from Germany, just a point back. And Jan Marszniak from Poland, just another point back. I mean, these are riders we haven't really spoken much about, Voster and Marszniak, but they've just been quietly chipping away with some really solid scores. But, well, some of our superstars like Mader and Vodicek have sort of been all over the place with their scores this week. Quite surprising. Now, if things were to stop, that will be disappointment for Sam Dickinson from Great Britain and Bruno Lobo, who have shown some real flashes of brilliance today, including Lobo's race win earlier in the afternoon. But if things were to stop as they are, they're not going to go any further in this competition, because it is only the top 8 that go through. We'll come back to that in a moment, but let's look at the women's scores. Yeah, so Jessie Kampman, absolute runaway leader. Well, she is only one race away. I'm still saying this on the assumption there's not going to be any more racing today. We don't know that for sure yet, but it looks like that. Jessie Kampman, one race away from winning this world title. It would be her first world title. Lauriane Nolot, the defending champion, she needs to take a race win off Jessie Kampman to get on level terms with them. But at least the Dutch and the French rider are straight through to the final, whereas the best of the rest is Australia's Brianna Whitehead and then Elena Lengville, who's really coming on strong in the last 2 days of this competition and remembering how to go fast and how to race effectively. Daniela Moroz, the last rider to win the Women's World Championship when this event took place here in 2022. She's always been really strong on Puerto Beach, but the world has caught her up and she hasn't trained much in the last year or so. Lily Young down to sixth place from third at the start of the day. That's a disappointment for her. And Ellie Aldridge leading that race when it all went funky just now, when the race was abandoned. That's the kind of stuff we saw her excel in to win the Olympic gold medal last year in Marseille. And Darren Atakan is the 8th and possibly final rider. I think even if we had the rest of racing this afternoon, Mirko, I don't think that Portugal's Mafalda Pires de Lima or France's Lisa Caval could close the gap anyway.
Yeah, there is a big gap, but also in the women, like in the men, between the 3rd and the 8th, the points are really, really close. And you can see 65, 66, and then 70, 74, 77, 81. If we have the chance to do another 2 races, then something might change. But for sure, the names that we will see tomorrow on the medal series, on the top 8, they will be those one, because from the 9 on the men and on the woman, the gap is quite big, and there is no way to get that kind of point to jump into the top 8 for the medal tomorrow.
Yeah. So, yeah, close on points in the middle order there. Let's go to a quick ad. So there is the activity on the beach. Isn't it a pretty sight? Hello, Jessie Kampman. Yes, you're looking happy, and so you should be. Leading by a long, long way, and has held the yellow bib from day one all the way through to the end. Let's look at the men's results again, because I think there might have been some adjustment or some updating. Right, so there's a second discard from the finals that has come in. So now that we've recrunched the numbers, look at that, Mirko. Can you believe it? They're both on 34 points, the top 2, Riccardo Pianozzi and Jan Stragiotti. But for Stragiotti, he just misses out on tiebreak, and that is a critical difference.
Yeah, I mean, we saw both of them being leading and going really fast. But as we said, again, looking into the tomorrow, if nothing will happen today, Pianozzi and Stragiotti, they will be the 2 standing on the grand final, waiting for somebody else, which they are pretty strong behind, to see how it's gonna work. So really, really great to see Ricky and Jan on the top 2 spot and with the same point.
And assuming, let's say, that the 2 former world champions, Max Mader's still the current world champion, but Max Mader and Tony Vodicek, they both won world titles before. They haven't got that sort of wobbly leg feeling of, this is my first, could I win my first world title? I don't know. Pianozzi and Stragiotti, they got that pressure of winning a world title for the first time. Mader and Vodicek, if they are the 2 that go through to the final, it's a different style of racing. That experience, that knowledge of knowing that you can deal with the pressure, that would be the ultimate challenge for Pianozzi and Stragiotti, to keep Mader and Vodicek behind them. But of course, we can't rule out Jan Marcinak, Wojtek Koska, Benoit Gomez and Jan Voster, because they also, as things stand, will be in the 8-rider final. And we talked about Sam Dickinson being close. Well, with this updated second discard adjustment, it's even more painful viewing for the British rider and his fans, because he's only 4 points off displacing Jan Voster for that critical 8th place. But as things stand, it looks like that's what it's going to be. Just something else to observe. All the foil choices in the women, oh, thank you for switching. So like the way you did, all Chubanger, and everyone in the men, all Chubanger, with the exception of Mader and Jan Stragiotti, who are going really fast on the Levitas. And it's so interesting to me. We saw this in the last cycle. Max Mader and Tony Vodicek both using Levitas at the time, winning all the world titles in the last Olympic cycle, but the rest of the fleet staying on Chubanger. It's so interesting to me. Why do you think people love Chubanger more than Levitas?
But honestly, I mean, stating on what all the riders said, is just the feeling is easier, is softer, and probably they give more confidence to the rider. So I guess just is about what you feel under your feet, and probably the feeling of the Chubanga, little bit, let's say, fluid. It gives more opportunity to the rider to be more confident, and then not think about how to manage then the angle, or how to push front or the back with your feet. Obvious, we know that Max Mader is pretty heavy and he has a really super power on his leg, and Jan Strajoti become really a big boys, I would say. So they might find the right position and the right way to push the Levitas to the limit and to be on top of the result.
Let's also just give a brief mention to someone who's not here, but we would love to have seen him here. Valentin Bontas, the Olympic champion from Austria. He made a switch from Levitas to Chubanga just before the 2023 Worlds, and suddenly shot into 4th place at those Worlds, and then for the final year into the Games used the Chubanga and won the gold medal riding a Chubanga. And it was an automatic switch for him. And so, hello, Valentin. I don't know if you're watching us from Paros in Greece, but we miss you. And we hope to see you back on the circuit next year. Absolutely top guy, as well as a very fast kiteboarder. Is it a little bit, Chubanga and Levitas, is Chubanga a bit like driving an automatic car and Levitas a bit like a manual?
So we are, I don't know. This, I think we need to be more prepared to talk exactly in details all about the different equipment. But you know what? The wind is really dropped down. Everyone is ashore. Let's see. Now we have to hope that the wind is gonna come back and probably have some racing again. So I think we have to ask everyone, stay tuned on kiteclasses.org, and then we will see you.
Unfortunately, it is going to be the end of our live stream. It looks unlikely that we're going to get more racing this afternoon, but it's looking like a really good forecast for the final day for those 8-rider medal series with the knockouts and then the 4-rider final. And even if you're not into kiting and you just want to see how a format can work, I really want you to watch this format, because I think it can apply to all forms of sailing competition where you're trying to keep the jeopardy going as late as possible in the competition. But for the time being, from Mirko, thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy.
And from me, Andy Rice, that's it for the day. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow for the final of 6 days of high-speed action here on Puerto Beach. Jan Stragiotti so close to getting the top spot.